How to teach and cue hot yoga like a pro. I'm talking about the words, the instructions that you give your classroom to be an effective and impactful teacher. In the Bikram world, they call it the dialogue. In the Barkan world, we call it the bullet points. The point of this video, I want to help coach the Bikram teacher and the Barkan teacher and yoga teachers in general. It doesn't really, you don't have to be in part of the hot yoga world, so that our words are actually going to make a difference, so that the students will actually hear what you're saying and those words will resonate. Because if you're just memorizing a script, or you go off on what I call a repeated pattern of speech, what I call the teacher voice, if you're stuck in a repeated pattern of speech just for memorization, the students at one point are going to tune you out.
Elevator music.
Is that what you want? But most people put on their applications, and I've been teaching teachers for a long time now, almost every single person, when they put an application in for my teacher training program, they put in, I want to help share with others what has helped me. If you really want to share with others what has helped you, it's how you say those words. Bikram crafted his dialogue. In the Barkan world, we craft the bullet points, put together those instructions. How you're actually going to say them is going to make all the difference. Before we continue on, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, hit the notification bell. You want to learn all about hot yoga, tutorials, flows, factoids, hit the like and the subscribe button right now. Any questions or comments you have, put them down below. First of all, in the Bikram world, the word dialogue drives me crazy, and I've said this many times on my channel, and I said it to Bikram many times too. It's not a dialogue. A dialogue is two people talking. A lot of times people will defend it. Well, it's a dialogue between you and the students. But the students aren't talking back. It's a monologue.
That makes so much sense.
That's one of the reasons why Bikram loved you so much, because very few people actually had the stones to confront Bikram and correct him on his English. So it's easier said than done. For an example, half moon pose. If you're in the Bikram world or the Barkan world, we both do half moon. So Bikram people, forgive me, I never was actually subjected to the dialogue. We actually were encouraged to calculate our own words, which is how I teach my teachers in the Barkan method. So half moon, feet together, toes and heels touching, bring your arms overhead, interlace the fingers, index finger released. And Bikram says hands, palms together. Another correction of English I used to always tell Bikram. Bikram, there's no other palm in the body except the hands. You could just say palms together. You don't have to say hands, palms together. Drives me nuts. In fact, for this video, I looked it up on Google. Let me share it with you. I said to Google, are there any other palm in the body beside the hands? And Google says, I quote, no. The word palm specifically refers to the inner surface of the hand, while other parts of the body have similar flat but broad surfaces like the sole of the foot. These are not referred to as palms. The only palm in the body is found on the hand, extending from the wrist to the base of the fingers. So, palms together. So now what we have to do, now back to the words, back to the question at hand. So here we are in our teacher voice, which is important, and I always say this too in my teacher training programs. It's important to have and establish a teacher voice. That's going to get you through a 90-minute class, a 75-minute class, a 60-minute class. You have a cadence, a rhythm. But what we have to do is break that pattern. And how we do it is we find what I call the gem. What's the gem, you may ask? Find something in each pose that's important. It doesn't have to be the most important thing. For example, when we're doing half moon pose to the side, the old days we called it Pars Ardha Chandrasana, side half moon. Arms together, interlace the fingers. Here's my teacher voice. Hands, palms together. Bring your arms to the right. Push your hips to the left. Bring your chest out. That's my teacher voice. What's important about this pose? Getting the hips square. So now when you're giving that cue, here's how we can bring out the gem. When you're bringing that cue, hips to the left, arms to the right. Now sometimes your left hip wants to come back. Push the hip forward. Let's get the hips square to the front. All of a sudden, my tone changed. I'm not in that cadence. Arms overhead, push your hips to the right. I broke the pattern by becoming conversational. That hip wants to come back. Pull it forward. Get the hips to square. That hip wants to come back, so pull it forward. All of a sudden, I have a conversation tone. You hear it? Arms to the right, hips to the left, chest out, teacher voice. Now, if your hip's back, pull it forward. The inflection changes. It actually drops down. And it's going to happen automatically when you become conversational, when you find that gem and communicate that gem in a way that the students will actually hear you. You want to get the student's ear. And it's easier said than done.
You said that before.
In my teacher training programs, when people were teaching in front of me or they send me videos of my online training, and by the way, if you're interested in becoming a Barkan teacher live or online, I put links in the description below. When they're teaching for me and I say to them, let's say your mother calls you on the phone and she's now doing the yoga. She lives in another city, let's say, or another country. And she says, I started doing this yoga and I'm having trouble in the triangle pose. I can't seem to touch my hand at my foot. What do I have to do? You're not going to say to your mother, you're not going to go into the dialogue. You're not going to break into your script and say, here's what you got to do, Mom. Arms overhead, step out to the right, tilt your arms to the left. You're going to actually explain to her probably what's happening, especially in the triangle pose. And we teach this in the Barkan method. You may be reaching down with your shoulder. You want to lower your hip. When you lower your hip, your hand will automatically lower down and touch the foot. Try not to collapse your shoulders. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm actually communicating this in a conversation tone you have on the phone. Now, I'm not saying you should be in a conversation tone all the time, because if you're in a conversation tone the whole time, it becomes too casual. You still have to have that teacher voice to keep that energy going, to keep the rhythm, to keep the flow. But we got to find what the gem is. And we want to break the pattern. And how do we break the pattern? By getting conversational. One great way of becoming conversational is to bring your own personal experience into the equation. You can say to somebody, let's say we're doing awkward pose, second part. You can say, in this pose, I used to struggle in this position. When I started doing this, it made a big difference. Try it, see if it helps you. What you don't want to do is use your personal experience to dictate the experience. You don't want to say, oh, I know this posture's hard, but let's just do it anyway. Well, it may not be hard for them. It may not be hard for me. Don't dictate my experience. Don't set me up to think, oh my God, here it's going to be hard. He just said it's going to be hard. I guess it's going to be hard. Your personal experience has to help them. So if we're doing a posture like eagle pose, you can say, squat down. I find when I squat down, it softens my hips. Now I can bring my leg over and much easier. Try that. Squat down into the position, see if it helps you to soften up your IT band actually, to allow that leg to wrap around. It might make a big difference for you as well. So make sure your personal experience, number one, sounds conversational. And number two, it's something that will help them in their practice. You just can't say, oh, I love this pose. Nobody cares.
Really don't care.
You love this pose. What is it going to do for them? What information are you going to give your students that are going to help them? And how are you going to help them is one, finding the gem, get conversational. Two, say it in a way that they'll hear you by breaking the pattern of speech. In the Barkan Method online teacher training course, people actually send me videos, their homework assignments at them teaching, and I then send back video feedback to help coach them to find that conversation voice, to help them break the pattern, to give them suggestions that will bring what I call variety of tone. By going from teacher voice to conversation voice, back to teacher voice. Now when we're in a posture like triangle, you're in what I call the Shiva voice, that strong energy. Now we're doing a posture like Shavasana. Now you're in the Shakti voice. It changes. So we have variety of tone, which is going to make the class more interesting. But what's more important than making it interesting is you're going to make it appropriate. Let your voice reflect the moment of the class. And we do that by having variety of tone. So if you're interested in becoming a Barkan Method teacher and would like me to help coach you to find that conversation voice, I put links in the description below. We'd love to have you join the family. I'd love to help you get to that next status. If you're a good teacher, I'm going to make you a great teacher. If you're a great teacher, I promise to make you an even better, superb teacher by finding that conversation tone. And another way of getting the student's ear is to encourage and to correct, something that Bikram is a master at. He's a master at encouraging somebody in the pose. He'll have somebody demonstrate, let's say, a balancing stick, and he'll be coaching them, and the whole class is watching. Get your chest through, bring that leg up, drop the hip down, chest through, a little bit more, and then they come into this perfect position, and he'll say, look at that. And all of a sudden, everybody applauds. The person's feeling amazing because he's encouraging that accomplishment. And you can do it within the class. You don't have to do it in a clinic situation. You don't have to stop everybody like Bikram does. You can do it in the classroom situation. Bring your chest through, bring that leg up. Yes, that's a perfect position. That's so much better. All of a sudden, the adrenaline kicks in. The connection between you and the student elevates. And now your teaching has made an impact on their practice. You encourage them, and they're going to be back tomorrow to do it again. And like I said, what goes hand in hand with the encouragement is the correction. In the Barkan Method online teacher training programs, twice a month, we have a Zoom class where everyone comes in the gallery review. It's pretty cool to see people, and they communicate and they share stories about what happened in the course. They share stories about what happened in their classroom. And at the second half of the live Zoom training, I post pictures and we play the game, what's wrong with this picture? Where we make corrections. So as a student, and again, this is what Bikram is a master at, is making those corrections. Sometimes it can be a very subtle micro adjustment, where they can get the knee underneath the foot, they can get the shoulder stacked properly. Just that little instruction, just that little tweak will get them to the next level. Break through whatever resistance they may be having in the pose. But by making the corrections, making the encouragements, all of a sudden the synergy between you and the teacher becomes real, becomes effective. You become a more effective and impactful teacher. And the reason why I'm making this video is the real main thing, and that we can highlight again, and drum roll, Rochelle, variety of tone. How are we going to get the students' ear if we're just memorizing a script? And if you are a dialogue teacher, you're sticking to the Bikram dialogue, we can break the pattern and how you're actually saying and communicating those words. And the Barkan method, I encourage my teachers to develop and structure their own sentences with the bullet points that are required. But what we want to do is find variety of tone, from the teacher voice to the conversation voice, from the Shiva voice to the Shakti voice. We communicate our cues like a pro. That's the whole idea of this video. And before we go, just quick updates on where I'm going to be in the next few months. October 5th to the 10th, a Barkan Method Level 2/3 teacher training program in Fort Lauderdale at Prana Hot Yoga. The day after, on October 11th, I'm going to be in Coconut Creek, Florida, doing a Barkan Method workshop at Evolution Yoga. In November 7th to the 9th, I'm going to be in Marltown, New Jersey at Revive Yoga with Paul and Shire, doing a Barkan Method and 26-2 workshop. We'd love to have you join us. I put links in the description below. So that's our episode for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Hit the like button, the subscribe button. Any questions or comments, put them down below. I'm happy to get back to you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, everyone.